Welcome to A Step Beyond, the program that helps ordinary people like you and me to get out of their comfort zone and do something that is exciting, satisfying, and memorable. I promise you something that will change your entire life onwards. I'm your host, Vinod Maverick Call. You loved to write as a child and dreamt of being an author, but society gave you an alternate, sanitized dream and serenaded you through the best of colleges and jobs. IIT Kanpur, IIM Calcutta, Hindustan Unilever, and on and on. You had a new identity, a respected social position, and a profitable livelihood. Debu Bhatnagar found himself in such a quandary for most of his adult life until he finally retired. But what happened when to his first love and original dreams then? Why? That popped out unscathed. And today, Debu is a successful author, spending his time in bookstores rather than suave business offices and churning out mystery thrillers. The rest is his story. You have the picture now. So over to Debu Bhatnagar in Gurugram, India, and his world of books. We are at the Om bookstore, and the current bestseller on display is the Mussoorie Murders. So we're trying to catch the author. Hey, Debu.
Hey, hi, Vinod.
Hi, Debu.
Hi.
How are you? Have you got a moment, please, to speak to our audience?
Sure, Vinod, absolutely. Would you like to come inside so
Yes.
that we can talk in a quiet corner?
Yeah, sounds good. Just show us your book.
Sure, absolutely. So that's my book, The Mussoorie Murders.
Okay, fine. We're following you. Hey, Debu, how does an engineer like yourself from IIT Kanpur and an MBA from IIM Cal become a writer? Totally opposites.
Well, actually, the two are not totally incompatible. I have always been fond of writing, initially for school and college magazines, but then, a hectic career put more or less an end to it. It was after I retired that I actually started writing again. And my first book was a set of nostalgic stories set in Mussoorie, which is a place which is very dear to my heart. And that was called Journey to the Hills and Other Stories. And then after that, my second book, The Mussoorie Murders, is also set in Mussoorie, and I'll tell you about that later.
Can one plan to be a full-time writer where this becomes your profession, full-time profession? What are the challenges involved in this?
So, the challenges as I see them are twofold. One is that you have to have the talent for writing. And therefore, you've got to have the facility with words and expression as well as the ideas. Because if you don't have a good product, no amount of good marketing is going to make it successful. So I think that's the first point.
Are people born writers or do they become writers?
I think you can become one, but I would say that there has to be some talent which is there already. If there is none, then it might become difficult. Having said that, I think the second challenge is that, at least in India, writing is not really a paying proposition. And there's just a handful of writers who sell enough books for them to make, enough money. And therefore, if you feel that it's going to be the only source of income for you, then I think that's going to be a big challenge. And that's something which you have to be mindful of when you get into this kind of line.
Tell us about your book, your best-selling Mussoorie Murders, and what is your special fascination for Mussoorie?
Oh, so my grandfather used to take the entire family to Mussoorie every summer when we were children, and later on he bought a house there, which is even today owned by me, and therefore we have a tremendous affinity for Mussoorie. So that's, I think, one very important point. The idea for the Mussoorie Murders came through a discussion with Sohail Mathur, who is my literary agent and the person who runs the Book Bakers. So in that discussion, he suggested that maybe I could find something which had happened in Mussoorie, which was quite sensational, and I could write about that. And that's when this murder, which was in the early part of the 20th century, a British lady was found murdered in a hotel
So
room.
this is a real story based
This is a real story. So she was found dead inside a hotel room, locked from the inside. The case created a furor, and famous writers like Rudyard Kipling and Arthur Conan Doyle actually took an interest in the case.
Really?
Yes.
Fascinating.
And it's even said that Agatha Christie's first book was inspired by this murder, but I really don't have any proof for that. But having said that, this murder was never solved. So in my book, I have created a second murder, which is a fictional murder which happens in the 70s. And while resolving that case, the detective, Avijit Sikdar, who is a retired Oxford Don, finds a clue for what happened in the first murder as well. So that's the book, The Mussoorie Murders. It's become a national bestseller and has gone in for a reprint less than 6 months after the launch.
Fantastic. So what are you working on now after this? And what is your next on your agenda?
So, Vinod, I have a set of short stories, again set in Mussoorie in the 60s, which is currently with the publisher. That book is awaiting publication. I'm also working on the next Avijit Sikdar murder mystery. No spoilers. All that I will tell you right now is that it's not based in Mussoorie.
Oh, okay. That sounds interesting. So, what advice will you give to our audience if they have got that bug also to write and they want to become an author? Should they do it? When should they do it? And how should they do it?
So, there is no time like the present. If you feel that you have it in you, then I think the first thing which you need to do is to start writing. Write, write, and write. That's the only way, because practice, like in everything else, makes perfect. So I think that's the first point. The second is seek feedback and advice. Send your writing to people whom you trust, people whom you can rely on to give you the right kind of feedback. The more brutal, the more frank, and the more honest feedback which you get, the better it will be for you in terms of your improvement. And with that, all I can say is good luck. This is a interesting, very fascinating, and somewhat frustrating profession. But good luck to you, and all the best in your writing efforts.
Thank you, Debu, for taking the time out from your daily work and daily writing and speak to our audience. I'm sure a lot of them will be inspired. So, hey, audience, what are you doing? Get off your backside, follow your passion like Debu did, and do something about it.
Thank you so much, Vinod. It's been a real pleasure talking to you.